So this is week 14 for us, and we're going to keep talking about class relationship and basically class design. Continue on talking about that. Hopefully going to start talking about inheritance and virtual functions today. Just a reminder, there's an evaluation that's available, and now it's for an online section that I'd appreciate if you can log in using your Access BCC credentials and take a survey there to let the world know how this is going for you. Okay. Good enough. Just a quick reminder also of what we have been doing and how things were progressing. The latest sample is posted for a pet license application, and we have this terribly long main function which interrogates the user for the owner information, then the list of pets, and it has these loops to gather the information. And the latest addition that we made in the system is that we created a dog class and a cat class, deciding that this would be beneficial for the progress, for the overall direction in which this application going. So this is going to be our focus today, the role of classes that represent specific type of pet, and what if we decide to, so what's going to happen and how hard is it going to be to add another type of pet to the system, such as, say, a horse, for instance, right, if you'd like to manage that as well. So anyway, so this is going to be, the focus of our attention. Just another quick look at the set of classes that we have so far. We have a pet class, and we have a number of data fields that keep the name, the age, the color, adoption, and if we have to, we can add other data. The pet has a constructor, and it has a number of functions which allow us to compute the fees and be able to print the pet license as a final product of this. We also talked about the possibility of having a dog and having a cat as classes, and we established relationship. We said that dog is a pet and cat also is a pet. And this is what we're going to discuss today. We're going to take another iteration at this relationship today. And beyond that, there's just the pet owner that we have. There's a pet license. There is a pet license is aware of the pet owner, and the constructor for pet license requires a pointer to an object of pet owner to begin with, because the license class has to be aware of the pet owner. So this is an overall where we stand. We're not completely done with this. Today, the approach that I'm going to take is that I'm actually going to do some practicing with these classes on the sideline, basically using brand new project. And then once we establish the major components that we need to be able to continue with this application, then I will move over and continue developing this application. So to begin with, so that's the plan, right? So to begin with, I'm just going to go and create a new project, and today again I'm switching over to a Visual Studio because it's a little easier for me when I do recording in class. But last week I demonstrated to you how you can do the same thing in code blocks. Once again, just like, start the project, download everything, and you should be fine. It's just always the same steps. So today, back to Visual Studio, and the version of Visual Studio that I have installed here is the latest one is 2013. Actually, 2015 is out there, but I never had a chance to install it. I will probably try it during the winter break. All right. Anyway. So what I'm going to do is just to open create new project, right? So the wizard screens that you use in code blocks and in Visual Studio are very similar, and if you keep trying samples, you should be well on your way. All right, so let's my projects are located somewhere here, so this is the path that I will specify. You choose your own path. Most likely you want to keep it alongside with the name of your course, right? So you can be creating projects for different courses. So this will be week 14, and this is going to be inheritance, class inheritance, to be more specific, demo. So that's going to be the name of my project. Week 14, inheritance demo. Okay, and I'm just going to create it. All right, since I'm going to be working with classes that we will essentially use, I'm going to continue the theme. The business domain is still going to be pets and different types of pets. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just, well, first things first, if I display the structure of my project, I don't have any files in it. I'm just going to add a new file, and as always, this is going to be something we call main.cpp, because it will contain the main function. And of course, my habit is to add the source subdirectory here so that I can keep the source file away from the rest of the project files that are managed by the Visual Studio itself, right? So this is an empty file. That's perfect. So we'll just say include IO stream for the purposes of communicating with the user using standard stream devices, and then of course include cstdlib to prevent this application from closing. We will use system pause, and we're going to have int main, which is, to begin with, as always, says return 0, which says everything's good, and system pause is, of course, the way to stop window from closing if we just launch the application. All right, so this is our main stuff. Now, since I'm going to be using classes today, right away I'm going to say include, and let me just follow this arrangement that we already had. I will use the same header name, pet license. Okay, I guess I will not. This is not going to be doing with license. This is just going to be pets.h. I will rely on the existence of this header named pets.h, and I will create it manually. I will go to my brand new project, source, and simply right click here in my file manager and say new text document, just plain text, and this is going to be pets.h, right? So just create new text and create pets.h, the C++ header file, right? So once I have it, I can drag and drop this, and it's perfectly an empty file. So I will now just say right click and move to the new tab, side by side, and what I'm going to do inside of it is that I'm going to say, of course, as always, if not defined, pets h included, right? So this is the header guard I'm trying to create, right? So then we're going to say define this thing, and then we're going to say, and if this is a preprocessor directives, which will basically allow us to include this file only once and never the second time, to prevent redefinitions or anything, and make this header file perfectly safe to use. Okay, so here we will repeat a little bit of what we already know about pets. I'm going to say class pet, right? and class pet is something, for now, we'll just use, for now, we're just going to say that it has a string, name for that pet, right? And that's the data field. By the way, if you don't want to use this standard library namespace prefix, you can just say using namespace std, and then it basically says if there's anything that's questionable in terms of the identifier, then try looking at the standard library namespace, and if that's the case, you don't have to do it this way, right? So we can try this technique in our main right here, but over here I will use the explicit qualification for data types that come from standard library. And since I need a string here, of course, I immediately say, include the string to make sure that we include the string from the standard library. Okay, so we have this, then we have public constructor for a pet, which can take the pet name, right? So we can say, give us the name for the constructor, and that constructor, let me just keep typing. Right, so this is going to be our constructor, and we can just write this constructor in line. It's going to be a very simple type of constructor. All we have to do is just say that name is initialized with the name that the user gives us, right? So this name right here is this name. If you want to make a distinction, you can name it like this, right? So just to make sure that there are different different names, but it doesn't have to be this way. And so we call this initializer list. So the user will provide the string with the name. The constructor will populate this member, data member of pet with the name that they give us, and then this is done by the initializer list, which is this part, and then we're going to say that the rest of the constructor is just empty. It doesn't do anything besides setting name equal to this name that they give us. All right, so something like this. Let me know if you have any questions about this. All right, so this is a pet. So for now, just a class that has a name, and that's the only data member that I am using.